Okay, so this is my rationale, and I write. For my reading task 1, I have written a long poem in the form of a dramatic monologue in response to Carol Ann Duffy's poetry. It addresses part 4 of the course, where I have explored literary works in detail, analyzing elements such as themes and moral values. I have chosen this particular approach in response to Mrs. Darwin, Mrs. Lazarus, and Penelope, because monologues are particularly personal. My chosen texts were all dramatic monologues and touched down on historical revisionism, which I wanted to recreate in my own writing. The theme I wanted to explore with my writing was feminism in science, since many women have never been credited for their work, but instead had their ideas stolen. For example, Rosalind Franklin in the discovery of DNA. I was heavily inspired by Mrs. Darwin by Carol Ann Duffy and wanted to create another version of the poem using another scientific historical figure. My version like My version is longer and uses plenty of literary devices like similes and onomatopoeia to tell a story. I used allusion, which Duffy uses in her own work, to conform to the text type. Her writing style omitted the word "and" to connect two different ideas together, which I tried to imitate. The shift in tone can be seen in the way Mrs. Newton talks about her husband. She calls him dear and is in the kitchen cooking for him. Later, when she discovers that he has stolen her idea, she begins to call him a liar and a cheater. Okay, so the things that I have edited based on my feedback were the shift in tone. I previously didn't mention it such like I just said there was a shift in tone, but I didn't explain it. And um and I just said that the poem addressed part 4, but I didn't explain the learning outcomes, so now I have added that. And I had two questions about the rationale. And the first one was I mentioned that my poem that I want to recreate dramatic monologue and historical revisionism. So I'm saying that my poem is a dramatic monologue and it uses the technique of revisionism like her, but I don't like explicitly explain that. So I don't know if I should explain that more in detail or if that's okay. Also, almost the same thing with the shift in tone. Um, I kind of explained it briefly to for like because it has to be 300 words, so I don't want to exceed. But I don't know if I should try and explain it a little bit more in detail. I don't know if the shift in tone is explained clear enough, or if I should go more in detail. And for my draft, for my poem, basically, I had two two questions, and one of them was if like I tried to be ironic here, like I said, "Oh, do I love my husband?" Only cowards thieve the thoughts. So I'm basically saying like it's ironic because she's saying like, "Oh, I love my husband," but then right after that she's saying like he's a coward because he stole my thoughts. So I don't know if that's like if it can be like sarcasm irony. So that's one question. And the other one is I try to make a shift in tone, but I don't know if I'm doing it because like at the beginning of the poem, she not at the beginning, but towards the middle, she's kind of like sad and really like disappointed that her husband stole her idea. But at the end, she's like, I will be free with my ambition and my thinking. Like, she doesn't care about him stealing anymore. Like, she's like free and she's gonna, like, it says like, and although he can take away the words out of my mouth, he can never take away my thoughts. So she's like being this independent woman. And the other shift in tone is that at the beginning she's like a wife and cooking for him and cleaning the kitchen, but then towards the end she's making her own ideas and she's like not cooking for him and she's like kind of like rebelling against him. But I don't know if that's clear enough the shift in tone. So I think those are my questions.